Hey folks, Paul with Thunderpunk Radio and Drake and Training Division, and I'm here talking with Scott from Apex. I'm really excited to talk to Scott. I've fired a bunch of Apex triggers. I don't own any yet, but I plan on getting at least two. And I'm stoked also because you've had your aluminum triggers for a while, but you just came out with a cost-effective trigger that does the exact same thing, but it's just made out of polymer.
Yep.
Let's start out talking about your triggers.
Sure. Yeah. So basically, Apex became a thing in 2001 when the company was formed. We basically kind of did a lot of gunsmithing and stuff like that way back before I was involved. And in 2009, I came on board, and late 2009, we released our first product, the Sear, for the Smith & Wesson M&P, the original M&P.
Okay.
From there, it kind of progressed. Let's make a striker block, make some springs, make a trigger, make this, make that kind of thing. So we kind of progressed that direction. The M&P, we became very well known for our flat face forward set trigger for the M&P.
Which I'm excited about. You guys know that I'm a 2.0 fan, big 2.0 fan. I use one for work and for teaching all the time. And that's actually what turned me on to your guys' company, is trying to replace that already decent factory trigger, but your guys' trigger is just, it's like a mid 1911 trigger. We're saying that saying, it sounds like I'm insulting him. That's a super big compliment for a striker fire gun. Am I wrong? Or?
I agree, yeah.
Yeah.
So with the M&P system, we came up with a system to shorten the over travel and pre-travel to as short as we could make it reliably work in an M&P original and the M&P 2.0. So we kind of just kept progressing into that realm. So the flat face trigger, which is what you see here, is what we're really well known for. So about a year and a half ago, we started talking about ways to make it more cost effective for the customer. And the complaint was, hey man, I love your trigger, but I just can't afford the price. I understand that. Our trigger was an aluminum machine body with a center mount pivoting safety that's polymer, and then all the other machine parts. Well, we've been doing a lot of machinery improvements, manufacturing improvements, throughput improvements in Apex all along since day one. And the biggest thing we couldn't really improve was the trigger manufacturing speed and cost. So we decided to turn around and go to polymer.
Okay.
Polymer is fast to make. Polymer is very durable. Polymer rebounds very nicely under recoil. All kinds of things you want actually in a gun. So we went to a polymer injection mold shop, had molds made, and now we offer our flat face forward set for the M2.0 in a polymer version.
It's like 40% price difference or something along those lines. Right?
So yeah, the aluminum ones are like $164.95 retail. The polymer ones are $99.95 retail.
Yeah,
the cool thing about the polymer is you get black, red, blue, FDE, and purple options all for the same price. And they're on our website ready to go. So it makes it super convenient, and it hits the price point for the customer that they're like, $99.95. It's under $100. It's a much easier thing for people to afford, and it's the same performance. No differences in anything. It's just a polymer body now, with our design, with our aesthetic, and ready to go.
Which, if you're shooting in adverse conditions, you'd almost want to go with the polymer because aluminum doesn't corrode the most, but they still corrode. There's still like issues with it. So
Well, it's anodized, so it normally doesn't. But you're right, there are issues there. The other big thing is if you're going to shoot a lot, like we shoot a lot. When we go testing, we bring 5,000 rounds. We burn that in like 4 or 5 hours. But the gun is smoking hot. It's not the gun that gets hot. It's the friggin' trigger. Because you have all this gas going back in the barrel. The barrel gets hot. The barrel sits right on top of the trigger. And what is aluminum? Aluminum is a heat sink. So after just a few hundred rounds, that trigger is literally blistering hot. We're putting on gloves and wearing asbestos gloves basically to shoot the thing.
I'm glad you brought that up. So that's something I wouldn't have. Well, I suppose eventually I would have found out. It's not something I wouldn't have thought about.
So stuff we kind of think about, But M&P wise, it's been great. We make barrels for M&Ps. We've got some serious improvements we've done to the barrels. We've got a patent for the change of the locking geometry, where we increase dwell time in the barrels and improve accuracy. The gun will shoot a pretty good group, but if you want to shoot a wicked group, and I'm talking like size of a quarter at 25 yards, this will do it. Our barrel will do it. So we have a semi-drop-in in the gunsmith barrel for the M&Ps that basically gives you that better accuracy via change of lockup and geometry stuff. But again, most people don't need to shoot beyond 4 to 6 inch group.
Right.
And that's more than enough for most people. Most people can't shoot that. But if you're going to go for bullseye type or something really crazy accurate, when it's really small, our semi-drop-in or gunsmith barrel is the way to go.
Now, when you say semi-drop-in, what does that mean?
Semi-drop-in basically means that the hood and the top section drops in the slide. So I'll use this one for an example. It's a factory barrel, but it's the same principle.
Right.
Our semi-drop-in barrel, I have to be able to take the barrel itself, set it on the strip railing like this, and I have to go like this. Sideways. I have to be able to kind of let it fall in. It has to fall into the upper. The semi part is that the bottom locking lug, this guy here, has to be trimmed to fit your frame.
So almost any gunsmith should be able to do this for you.
Yes, and you should be able to do it at home. We actually will have walk through, drive through. We have videos we walk you through the installation process, including using our barrel fitting jig. And it's a simple matter of taking material off here.
Gotcha.
But it to be done. Some guns don't need it because of tolerance stack here and there, but the accuracy is still vastly improved.
Gotcha.
So it just depends on what barrel you choose.
Okay, cool. And then I know you're excited to talk about the Hellcat, the gun that just came out. You got a new trigger for this?
Yeah, the Hellcat came out a little over a year or so ago, and this happens to be the optic. What do they call this one? The OSP, I believe.
I think so.
Yeah, the Hellcat OSP. It's got a thumb safety. It's got an optic on it, compensated from the factory. What we've done is we've replaced the factory trigger with our trigger. So I get the tag out of the way here. And this is the Apex Action Enhancement trigger for the Hellcat. It includes a trigger and two springs to reduce the trigger pull to about 5 to 5.5 pounds when installed. But the other stuff we're adding to this gun is a couple new features. We have a new mag release extended coming out. It's just about a 50 thousandths extended, but it's got a little more serration to it, so it's a little grippier. Thank you. I have an extended takedown lever we're working on, so a little grippier for disassembly, making it a little easier to do. But it also acts as a thumb rest, not a big one, but a little bit of a thumb rest for your left hand when you're holding a right-handed grip.
Okay.
We're working on an extended thumb safety and extended mag release.
So I'm a big 1911 guy, so I love slide-mounted safeties.
Frame-mounted.
Yeah, I carried a Beretta for like 8 years, and I do not like slide-mounted safeties. I love frame-mounted safeties. And even on my 2.0 has one. And with a striker-fired gun, you don't necessarily, if you have a good holster and good trigger discipline, you don't need a safety because there's internal safeties, right?
Yep.
But I just prefer my personal preference to have one. So that's cool that you're also running with that.
Yeah, so we're basically doing extended controls for the gun. What we're also doing, though, is, for example, it's an ambi thumb safety that comes on the gun. Well, not everyone likes ambi thumb safeties, right? I'm a right-handed shooter. I carry my gun on my right side. Well, I don't want my thumb safety paddle hanging out there to the right, so we have a thumb safety. We call it a single-sided thumb safety adapter, SSTA, whatever it is. But the idea is that it just basically takes up the right side, puts a little plug in there, so you have a strong side only, and on the other side it's blank. It's not reversible. The other side only works on this side so far, but things like that. So the other big thing we're doing for the Hellcat is a 4-inch sliding barrel, and this has gotten a lot of attention at this show. The factory barrel is 3.1 inches without the compensator threads. Ours is 4 plus threads if you have a threaded option. So we'll offer this guy with threads, no threads, night sights or tall sights, to co-witness for a suppressor or to co-witness through an optic. It's already optic cut for the Hollow Sun 507K and the Shield RMS-C mounting platform.
Which the 507K is like the newest, hottest, I'm getting the 507C for my big gun. I'm looking at the 507K for carry. It's like the smallest profile right now. It's super reliable, and I just wanted to point that out. Yeah.
So that's what we're working on. It'll be out probably within 6 months or so.
Okay.
We've got a lot of work to do. This is the first prototype off the machine. It literally came off like Friday. I kind of blew it off of there and tossed it in my bag. I'm pretty sure it was still wet when I got to the airport. But that's just how it goes.
Yeah, that's how it goes in this biz.
But it's here it is to show that it's coming. We figured the Hellcat's a great gun. We'd like to see what else they're going to do with the Hellcat in the future. There's things we can do with it like this, where we can have an aftermarket sliding barrel. So we're just pushing forward on things. We're really well known also for our FN trigger kits.
Okay.
We offer the only aftermarket trigger for the FN, a curve and a flat. We have an aftermarket slide, barrel, all kinds of stuff. We do a lot of product support for certain platforms. And as we get into new platforms, we try to constantly drive and support those more, just to grow the brand and the name.
Gotcha. It's been great seeing your company grow. I knew you guys were. Well, first off, the first time I used one of your triggers from one of our students, and I think a couple of our instructors are running Apex triggers, I knew right away I had to get one. And then, but I'm buying a house soon, and ounces make pounds, cents make dollars. And when you came out with your polymer trigger, I'm like, man, you're going to open up this market to so many. Because, think about it, if you want to throw an optic on, maybe you already have a holster, you got to get a new holster. You want to throw a light on, okay, cool. You want to put a new trigger in. Trigger's one of the best things on performance, right? But then, all these things add up. And so I think it's great that you guys are coming out with stuff that's more affordable but still gives the same performance. And just, I don't know, I love modifying things. I'm a muscle car guy, truck guy, anything you can do to make things better. And so I just thank you so much for talking to me. I was really excited to meet you guys here today.
Thanks for coming over.
All right, hey, any comments or questions, let us know. Please leave your feedback. We'd love to hear from you. Thank you. I never know how to end these things.
You're right. Like, share, and obey.
There we go.